Hi, everyone. I am Lisa Landrum, and I'm doing my policy skills library on how to assess organizational culture that shapes how employees carry out child welfare policy. I chose this topic because I worked in child welfare, and I really saw how organizational culture impacted the policies that we were trying to carry out, and in return affected our families and children that we served. So specifically, just so you can see where my headspace is, we talked about policy ecosystem approach within our coursework. And part of that was talking about how policies can be informed by the needs of the community, social movements, and capacities of organizations. I'm specifically looking at the capacities of organizations because organizational culture does impact the capacity of organization in return that impacts policy. So why is all this important? This is important because, first of all, there's a lack of research on organizational culture within social services. It's mainly in the business arenas, which is not doing justice to the field at all. We really need to know what organizational culture is like so that we can properly serve our clients, right? And why it's so important is because there's high turnover rates that create unhealthy organizational cultures, and research suggests that this impacts the very policies that we're trying to implement. Organizational well-being, job satisfaction, growth, productivity, all of this can be a impact on organizational culture and needs to be evaluated because it does affect our workers as well as the children that we serve and our families. So what skills do we need? So I kind of broke this down into 3 skills: observation of organizational culture, effective supervision, and assessment of employee traits. Most of the research lent its area to these topics. So observation, looking at working conditions, looking at social supports, looking at leadership, looking at workload, compensation, professional development, observing that, right? And we don't work in a silo. We're not working in this one building, right? So looking at caseworkers in the field, looking at them at court, observing all of this, not looking at them, but observing it, right? To see how they're thriving, how they're not thriving. Also looking at archival data, right? How many families were served? Were they able to be served efficiently? Those things need to be observed. Effective supervision should also be assessed. Are they getting the supervision that they need, or are they not? And then assessment of employee traits. So the involvement, adaptability, consistency, and then mission-oriented. Those are traits that research suggests lead to healthy employees, which lead to a healthy organizational culture. So say we assessed our organization. What do we do with that information? It's great. We understand this skill set. We understand what to do, but what are we going to do with it? The book talks about the theory of change, or excuse me, not the book. We had an article talking about the theory of change worksheet. And then we also had some of our research talking about engaging with local politics, and then a policy development toolkit. All of these things are important, but I'm going to focus for this on the theory of change because this is a key component that I just want to do an example really quick with you. So with the theory of change, the first thing is to figure out your goal. So obviously our goal is to have a healthy organizational culture. And then we would want to look at our problem. Each organization is going to have a different problem that you see, may have several problems, may have no problems, may have a few problems. So really assess that. Is it high turnover rates? Is it secondary trauma? Is it emotional labor? Is it high caseloads? What is it, right? So once we find that out, let's take an example. Say it's emotional labor. We need to look at who the key audience and stakeholders are. This would be our caseworkers, judges, anyone that we work with that has a stake in the child welfare system. And then what steps are needed to bring about change? So we might find, oh, we need meditation cubes, or we need therapy, or we need to decrease the amount of sexual abuse cases that each employee gets. We need to spread it out over the employees. Say each employee has 30 cases and one employee has 30 sexual assault cases and the other one has 30 neglect cases. Well, maybe we want to even that out. So we even out some of that emotional labor toll. And then what are the wider benefits? So this will increase employee satisfaction. It'll help with well-being, which in turn creates a healthy organizational culture, which in return affects our clients and helps them thrive and helps us carry out the policies that we're intended to carry out, right? And then engage with local politics. We want to take this information to our local arenas to make sure that we have effective policies. And then our policy development toolkit that our class material really honed in on. This is also a really good tool that we could use or a guide of steps if we need to change some policy. I appreciate everyone coming. Thank you so much. Hopefully this helped you learn how to assess organizational culture within the child welfare system. Have a great day.